school. Delhi police has also filed an FIR against NSUI National President Varun Chaudhary for protesting at NTA's office yesterday. Remember, they had stormed the NTA office. Meanwhile, chaotic scenes in both houses of parliament today as opposition members demanded a discussion on the NEET issue happened. Now, leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, urged the Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold respectful and constructive discussion in the parliament on the issue of the alleged irregularities in the conduct of the National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test exam as it concerns the country's youth. The BJP members have countered the opposition, saying that the discussion on the motion of thanks on the President's address will take place first, but the opposition MPs were unrelenting and were pressing for the discussion on NEET. Then after laying of papers, the Speaker adjourned the House. Same unruly scenes are seen in the upper house as well. Is the opposition's real intent to hold a constructive debate on the sensitive issue affecting lakhs of students, or are they hell-bent on blocking the House proceedings? That's the big question we'll be taking up tonight. But as we said, the focus also has been on the charges that have been hurled at the government as far as the entire parliament is concerned. We'll in fact be deep diving into what the charge has been from the Congress party. But let's bring you what the glimpses have been like.
आप चर्चा से भागते हो, सरकार अपना पक्ष रखने के लिए प्रस्तुत है, तो कंफ्यूजन किस बात की है?
We are ready for a debate, we want to debate, and we don't want to fight with the government. We want to place our views on the table.
The government has already taken the decision and order for a CBI inquiry.
मुझे नहीं लगता कि सरकार भी इसमें कोई उसको कुछ छुपाने की कोशिश कर रही है। सीबीआई की जांच का आदेश हो चुका है।
Alright, so will there be any meaty discussion in the parliament, or will there be more adjournments ahead? That's the big question we are posing tonight. And let me introduce our esteemed panelists today. I'm joined in by Sanjeev Verma, who's the national spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party, Pooja Tripathi, who's a spokesperson for the Congress Party, Abhishek Sudhir, who's a political analyst. He's also backing the NTA, I'm told. Mr. Vivek Thakur, who's a founder of Scholars Den. Many thanks to you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining in. Sanjay, if I could begin with you, the big charge coming in from the Congress party today was that the mics of both the leader of opposition, in fact, Mr. Kharge and Mr. Gandhi, were turned off. Why is the government so adamant and unrelenting on a discussion on NEET?
Akanksha, thank you for having me. First and foremost, there's an echo.
All right, I'm going to request my team, in fact, to look into that, but I'll urge you to go ahead with whatever you want to say.
Okay. So, Akanksha, the first point is this. Dharmendra Pradhan, not once, not twice, but on half a dozen occasions has categorically said that yes, what happened should not have happened. But now that it has happened, is the government willing to fix and ensure that accountability is indeed something that needs to be fixed? The answer is yes. Is the government going about it in a transparent manner rather than obfuscating the entire issue and trying to shove things under the carpet? No. Dharmendra Pradhan said that yes, there have been many irregularities and lapses by the NTA and we need to resolve this. And purely because of that, the ex-NTA head honcho was replaced by a new gentleman called Pradeep Singh Kharula. So first point is this, accountability has been fixed. There is a new gentleman at the helm of affairs at the NTA called Pradeep Singh Kharula, a senior IAS officer. The second point is this, that on the 20th of June 2024, barely a few days back, the CBI swung into action and is now conducting a thorough probe into NEET and NEET-UG exams as well. Point number 3, on the 22nd of June 2024, a full-fledged committee consisting of the ex-chairman of ISRO, Mr. K. Radhakrishnan, has been formed so that all stakeholders can be taken on board. Every stakeholder, his or her concerns can be addressed, and a solution which is not transient but permanent can be found as to how competitive entrance exams can be made transparent without compromising anybody's interest. So, like I said, a CBI probe, a high-powered committee which has been formed, removing the ex-head of NTA, getting in a new gentleman who should be able to move things onto a better trajectory. All these things have been done. The more important point is this. I will just end by saying one thing. It is because today you have Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister at the helm. It is because you have an Education Minister in Dharmendra Pradhan. It is because you have Modi 3.0 in the Satta Ki Gaddi that you and me are still sitting here and discussing things like accountability and transparency. Had this been a Congress government like was the case in 2006, when the law exam was cancelled.
But Sanju, I want you to address a more serious charge that's been heard by the Grand Old Party today. That is that the opposition voice is being muffled. They're saying that the mics of both the leaders of opposition were turned off, and that's a huge charge, in fact.
Let's be very clear, Akanksha. The presiding officer of the Lok Sabha is the Speaker. He has ample powers under Article 94, 95 and 96 of the Constitution to ensure that the proceedings of the House are conducted smoothly without any aberrations. And if for 2 minutes or 20 seconds somebody's mic is put off to ensure that the larger point is not lost in terms of having a full-fledged discussion, so be it. And in the Rajya Sabha, I saw myself, the proceedings were telecast. Jagdeep Dhankar, who's the presiding officer in the Rajya Sabha, he categorically told the likes of Sagarika Ghosh, the likes of Priyanka Chaturvedi, who were jumping into the well of the House and, trying to shout down the chair.
But Sanju, the question is also being asked, who was raising the ruckus today at the well of the House?
The ruckus was being raised by the opposition because, like always, whether it was Pegasus, whether it was the Ram Mandir issue, whether it was the Central Vista issue, whether it was the farm bills, the opposition has never cared for serious discussion. They want to shoot and scoot, make allegations, then run away. Even the no confidence motion, Akanksha, do you remember? August 8th and 9th, we had a full-fledged discussion. Gaurav Gogoi moved the no confidence motion saying, we want a discussion on Manipur. The moment Prime Minister started to speak on Manipur, from Kharge to Rahul Gandhi to everybody, including Gaurav Gogoi, they walked out of the House.
All right.
Serious discussion nahi chahiye. They only want to do drama.
All right. Thank you for, in fact, combating all those questions that I have posed right now. Pooja Tripathi, why not respect the decorum of the House, A, and wait for the motion of thanks? You will be given 4.5 hours. Why is that calling for further adjournments?
Akansha, the paper leak came into the results came out on 4th of June, and from 4th of June, there have been multiple inconsistencies, the multiple leveled allegations, and every day a new thing crops up somewhere in Bihar, somewhere in Godhra. 24 lakh students are out on streets. There are 1160 petitions all over the country, including 119 Supreme Court itself, and we are looking at 24 days of protest. And government, and when Rahul Gandhi very categorically, very, very humbly asked for a constructive discussion on NEET. When Mr. Manikrao Tagore, he passed a resolution saying unprecedented paper leak. This is unprecedented.
But do you realize, Pooja Tripathi, you've already wasted 1 day. You've already wasted 1 day. And what happens then to the very own issues of Manipur? What happens to, in fact, the powers that you've been questioning about the central agencies? What about those issues?
The power of opposition is the power of student protest, is the power of people coming out on streets that Mr. Dharmendra
Which is why it is equally important that you behave pragmatically. It is after 10 years that you have an LOP. Respect the time of the parliament.
In fact, he was saying that the examination system is foolproof. 8 days later, he comes out and takes a press conference saying he's taken moral responsibility. What is the moral responsibility? We don't want to have any water-watery. What action have you taken on NTA? Why is NTA chairman Pradeep Joshi still assuming power, still in his office, when Pradeep Joshi's career is marred with controversies, is marred with paper leak allegations? No, you will not touch Pradeep Joshi because he's an RSS man. And that's what we are saying. When you go for votes for the 25.4 crore youths.
Let's not talk about RSS and BJP, because this is not a partisan issue. This is the question of the fate of 24 lakh students.
When Rahul Gandhi asked for constructive criticism, he urged Pradhan Mantriji, he urged members in government to have a, to let's give a resolution to the youth of the country who for 24 days are looking up to the government, looking up to the parliament.
All right, I have my other panelists who've been awaiting their turn very patiently, and before I go to Vivek Thakur, I'll give 30 seconds to Sanju, in fact, to make a quick point. Sanju, please.
Currently the man who's running NTA is Pradeep Singh Kharola, a 1985 Karnataka cadre IAS officer. Mechanical engineering, he studied from Indore in 1982. So he's not somebody who's uneducated, not somebody who does not understand the nuances of this entire thing. Point number one. Point number two, I just have this to say. If you want a serious discussion, it has to be done while maintaining decorum in the house. You cannot have this my way or the highway attitude. You have to understand that Om Birla knows his job, and he has categorically said, be it Rule 256, Rule 272, Rule 377 of the Lok Sabha, we will allow the opposition enough time, but you have to understand that every member has to be given time to put forth his or her viewpoints.
All right, you made your point. Vivek Thakur, I'd like to bring you in.
The highway attitude. Rahul Gandhi can't have the my way or the highway attitude. Get that loud and clear.
Okay. All right. Vivek Thakur, let's also listen in from what the scholars, in fact, and the academicians have to say. Vivek, when you talk about the institutional irregularities, the greater standardization of education, there's a lot more than what meets the eye over here, because you're not just talking about busting the education mafia. Where and how can these issues in fact be addressed? Can it just become or be left to becoming a partisan issue in the parliament?
See, there are many things which need to be done from the political dispensation, and all this hue and cry and scoring some brownie points, Congress over BJP and BJP over Congress, it's been going on for days now, and both these parties and the leading leaders, they just forget that the results were declared on 4th of June. And it's only because of the teachers and the students of this country that this leak has come to the light. Because if you see the timeline, Akansha, on 4th of May, Patna police received a tip-off from Hazaribagh that there is some leak being planned. And on 5th of May, a FIR was registered in Shastrinagar police station of Patna. Since 6th of May, the kingpin, Sanjeev Mukhya, is absconding. He is missing from his duty. And he has also filed an anticipatory bail in the court. Whereas the whole system, the police and the bureaucracy and the government and education minister, everyone is sleeping. See how ridiculous it is that on 13th of June, results were out on 4th of June, and on 13th of June, respected education minister and belonging to party of Sanjuji, he gave a clean sheet to NTA without any investigation. On 22nd of June, CBI probe was ordered. And today we are sitting on 20th of June. The exam has not been even cancelled till date.
Sanju, that is where the accountability. Just a second. Sanju, you have to answer that. There's been a series of flip-flops, which is what is currently making the government stand in the dock. The prime most, question that's being raised is that if the UGC NET papers could be cancelled, why not hold that for the NEET papers as well? And remember, it is a question of 24 lakh students, and these are the flip-flops that are now being put to question as far as the government is concerned. And I know that it's not just about the BJP government, it goes all the way back to the UPA, something I'm going to take up with Pooja as well, but please go ahead.
I did not want to make this about any one individual. Vivek Thakur runs Scholars Den, a coaching center out of Moradabad in Uttar Pradesh, and I think that one of the biggest stakeholders in this government को क्या करना है, government करेगी. मैंने पहले ही कहा government's accountability needs to be fixed, and we will ensure what happened does not happen again. Be it 24 lakh students or 24,000 students, the number does not matter. There should be a protocol in place. But I also think coaching centers have done a disgraceful job. Coaching centers have given tall promises, built flaky castles in the air. I'm not talking about Vivek Thakur, but I'm talking about the general credibility.
Let her finish. Vivek, I will give you time to come up with a rebuttal. Let her finish. Yes. Vivek, I will give you time to finish. Please go ahead.
I repeat, I'm not talking about Vivek Thakur, but I repeat, Vivek Thakur runs a coaching center. He needs to listen to this. There are many people out there who run coaching centers. Which
And coaching
run
centers,
their
I agree,
pages.
have an equally important responsibility. It's all part of the mafia.
Akansha, yeah, let me just finish, Akansha. Just
We are the one who
20.
exposed it.
Akansha, you have to ask this guy to keep quiet.
Please, let her finish.
I
I will let you.
repeat, Vivek Thakur, do not get rattled. I will have my say. You cannot put my voice
Yes,
down.
Sanju, complete.
Coaching centers, most of them are doing a disgraceful job in terms of being fly-by-night operators. They played with the lives of students, and I think that is something which is known to everybody. Ask parents, ask, uncles and aunties who have nephews, nieces, sons, daughters, जिन्होंने कहा है कि coaching centers ने हमें बर्बाद कर दिया. Now to the main point. The main point is this. Have there been flip-flops? Yes. Could they have been avoided? Yes. But right now, is there any government in post-independent India's history which has addressed the elephant in the room? Yes. The answer is Modi government. Is there any government which has taken the bull by the horns? The answer is yes, the Modi government. We have ensured that the NEET-UG was cancelled because the problem was broader in nature. For the NEET exam, there were 1,563 students who were given grace marks, and the Supreme Court said either their old marks will be considered or you give them the option of a re-examination. If those 1,563 students opted for a re-examination,
why cancel the UGC NET exam, Sanju?
Why cancel the Modi government?
Why cancel the UGC NET paper?
Akansha, let us be very clear.
Why such an imbalanced approach?
Can I finish, Akansha? You asked me a question.
I'm running short of time, Sanju. I have to take a question from Abhishek.
So let me finish now. Please, Akansha, bear with me for 15 seconds.
Okay.
In the NEET exam, there were two problems. 67 students all got full marks, 720 out of 720, and this was brought to the notice of the Supreme Court. It said this is next to impossible. And Supreme Court was told that 1,563 students were given grace marks. And Supreme Court said, ये भी गलत है, या तो इनको कहिए re-examination, या इनको अपने पुराने marks दीजिए. They opted for a re-exam. NEET-UG, we were told that the paper leakage was of an endemic nature, and the best thing that the NTA could have done was to cancel the exams so that no interest was compromised.
Okay.
And that indeed
Okay,
was done.
let me now bring in Abhishek Sudhir. Abhishek Sudhir, the Radhakrishnan committee is being talked about. At the same time, the contrast is being drawn with what the Rajan committee in Tamil Nadu had to say. They've in fact gone on to question the whole centralization of education, considering all those boards and how diversified Indian education system is, keeping how in fact public examinations are not conducted in various other foreign countries. They go by how the students perform in their school examinations. What is your take when it comes to centralizing public examinations, something in fact that was also questioned by the Supreme Court way back in the year 2013, when they in fact put a stay on the implementation suggestion that had come in from the UPA government back then?
Yeah, well, look, at the end of the day, if you're talking about centralization and decentralization, let's look at the case of Tamil Nadu. States like Karnataka, states like Andhra Pradesh are all moving towards CBSE. So I think uniformity in education is important. You spoke of the diversity of the different education boards that we have. I think centralization in a country such as ours is an age-old debate, a debate that goes back to when the constitution itself was framed. Look, as far as the NTA is concerned, yes, there have been lapses.
Now is the time to question those very foundations, because you're looking at lakhs of students at the moment.
Let me put it this way. The Tamil Nadu government wants an exemption from NEET. Right? The state of Tamil Nadu wants an exemption from NEET. That is simply not feasible. Right? It's not feasible. You can't exempt one state and not exempt any of the other states. Right? This is a question of equality. That's an Article 14 violation. You can't, and also, right, we need certain standards to be maintained when students enter the medical field. Right? Whatever be the follies and of the NTA, there has been accountability. Accountability has been fixed. An investigation is underway. The leaks that have been spoken of are in Bihar and Gujarat. There are two states where the police is under the control of the ruling NDA. Whether the opposition likes it or not, I trust Prime Minister Modi to fix this problem. He's been given a mandate for a third consecutive time. The only Prime Minister after Pandit Nehru to get a third consecutive mandate from the people of India. Do they trust the opposition? I don't think so. The opposition has absolutely no solution to offer. The opposition is problem-oriented. I have not heard Rahul Gandhi say once that this is my solution to fix paper leaks. Then you look at what the government has done. They've got a comprehensive bill, right, that criminalizes the leakage of papers. This is a societal problem. This is a human problem. They can easily speak about NEET, Akanksha, when they reply to the motion of thanks. If they reply to the motion of thanks that was to be tabled by Sudhanshu ji in the Rajya Sabha and that was tabled by Anurag Thakur ji in the Lok Sabha, they can easily have spoken about NEET. They could have used all their time to reply to the motion of thanks to speak about NEET. The speaker could not have stopped them. And they also don't know how the muting of mics works. The Lok Sabha speaker and the chairman of the Rajya Sabha don't have the mic mute button. Right? It is controlled by a panel of experts, basically. And if you don't mute the mic, when you do a show, Akanksha, what do you say? Please unmute yourself or mute yourself. On a Zoom call, you mute people so you can hear everybody. So they don't even know how that works. The opposition and the Congress party thinks it's got 99 seats and they think they won the election. They think that they've been given a carte blanche to the people of India to disrupt every session of parliament. This is not even a full session. If I can just make my point, there is a budget session coming up. Raise it there. Table a motion. You are insulting the president. Their leaders have insulted the presidents. The Congress party, I want you to ask the spokesperson, Akanksha, of the Congress party, do you have a solution for paper leaks? Here is your time, madam.
That is exactly what I was about to come to. Pooja Tripathi, you are saying that the parliament didn't give you time. Let's hope that, you know, your voice is being heard by the Radhakrishnan committee as well. Make your points right now. And while you do that, please address the double speak. In your manifesto, you said that you will make the NEET paper optional. The CUET will be made optional. Okay? Agree? But let's also not forget that you were the one who recommended the NEET examination back in the year 2010.
So it's exactly like saying that, you know, we inaugurated the Terminal 1, so we are responsible for, we built the Terminal 1, so we are responsible for its falling.
That is exactly why I'm saying it is not a partisan issue. It should be a bipartisan issue because that is what the president also said. So I'm glad you've in fact made my point easier.
What is the solution?
Will you let me complete?
Yes, please go ahead.
That's defending NT is actually defending Modi. We are not here discussing Modi, third term, Modi after Jawaharlal.
What is the solution, Pooja? What is it that you wanted to say in the parliament?
Let me complete. This arrogance.
Please. Abhishek and Sanju, let Pooja make her point. Pooja.
This arrogance of passing on the blame baton to the coaching centers, to the parents, to the opposition, this won't work. What is your solution?
Because it is time to examine the exams.
I want to answer that.
Why is NEET examination not...
What is the solution? Do you have a solution for the paper leaks? Do you have a single point solution? How would you fix paper leaks? How would you fix paper leaks?
How does Congress plan to address in the parliament is what I want to ask you. Where is the accountability? Just with the government alone?
Exactly. The panelist is saying there's a budget session. The students has been on streets for 24 days. Give some grace for God's sake to the students of the country. There's a budget session. You can take it up there.
What is your solution?
Pooja, you are losing out on precious time. Sanju, you've also made your time. In fact, Sanju, I give you 15 seconds. Pooja, I gave you time to speak, but you kept on harping on the budget session point. That was a point Abhishek was making. You should have rebutted it.
What is the solution? This still don't have a solution.
Sanju, I give you 15 seconds. Yes,
Abhishek,
let Sanju make a point, and I'd like to end with Vivek's closing thoughts. Sanju, please go ahead.
You know, Akanksha, I think you have to salute the Modi government, particularly the Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, Vijay Kumar Sinha, who actually took the bull by the horns and said that, you know, the biggest scam in NEET has happened thanks to a gentleman called Pritam Yadav, the personal secretary of Akhilesh Yadav, who helped a gentleman called Sikandar Yadav to give the NEET paper 24 hours in advance to a student, Anurag Yadav. Anurag Yadav has named and shamed Pritam Yadav, the close confidant of Akhilesh Yadav. He's a student. Anurag Yadav is not a politician. Why is Rahul Gandhi not asking questions of Akhilesh Yadav? Why is Rahul Gandhi not asking questions of Pritam Yadav?
And why just Akhilesh Yadav? Let's not forget that, in fact, the DMK has questioned their stance. The DMK has gone on to say that Congress has no right to, in fact, question NEET because, in fact, they've gone on to talk about Congress's own integrity. The DMK has attacked their own stance. Vivek,
exactly.
Please go ahead and make your point in 15 seconds. I'd like you to end this discussion with your closing thoughts.
See, Akanksha, these people who are running these rackets for paper leak, and they are like termites and moles eating our education system and health system. They are more dangerous than terrorists. If all people are really concerned, the people belonging to BJP, because we have voted them to for the third time coming in power, it's their responsibility, and it's a big opportunity because the educated middle class are the ones who are standing with them since they were having two seats only in Lok Sabha, and now they are having third term government. So if the political parties are really serious, first, number one, they should declare voluntarily, all parties, that anyone involved in these cases will be expelled from the party and will never be taken by any political party. Number two, in the Public Examinations Act 2024, which was enacted just a week back, there is only the maximum punishment is of 5 years only. Why not they talking about the issues? Why not they talking about the clauses in the law? Only 5 years punishment. And do you know this Sanjeev Mukhya, the kingpin, his son is there in the jail for the BPSC teachers recruitment case. And what they are saying that we will come out on the bail and we will again go to jail, but this will keep running. This is the kind of daring they have against the system, because
thank you so much for making that point, Vivek Thakur. But let's not forget that when you talk about an education system, just like the health system, the moral responsibility and the in fact onus just doesn't lie with the government alone. It is we the people, and which is why I'd like to allude to the President's speech, which said that it should not be made a partisan issue. On that note, many thanks to you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining in on this discussion. And with that, it's time to slip into a quick break. And coming up after that short break is Delhi's monsoon mess. What's the solution and who's responsible? Welcome back. You're watching Brass Tacks, and we are coming live to you from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Prime Time studios. Now, year after year, the same story. Absolute chaotic scenes are visible across the capital as rains lashed the city today. From Azad Nagar Market to ITO, from AIMS to Dholakua, roads were inundated and streets waterlogged. Several cars were seen submerged in the underpass below the Moolchand flyover. The canopy of Terminal 1 airport also collapsed. And in fact, one person died in this tragedy. In more tragic news that is coming in, 2 children have died after drowning in a deep ditch which was filled with rainwater in New Usmanpur area today. The 2 boys had gone there to play in rainwater when the incident happened. According to the IMD Safdarjung, Delhi's primary observatory has recorded a staggering 228.1 mm of rainfall, which is the second highest record set in June 1936. Now, PWD has estimated that the old drainage system can accommodate a maximum of 50 mm of rainfall. Anything exceeding this threshold overwhelms the system, leading to the flooding of major roads. Flooding has become an yearly affair with no segregation of storm water and sewage in almost 50% of the city. Natural drain system of the city is fast disappearing, with 44 of the 201 major drains having disappeared or encroached upon. Open drains are being in fact treated as dustbins, and they are failing to carry any storm flow. Drain slabs are not repaired on time. Unauthorized colonies are also adding pressure. Delhi's monsoon mess once again has paralyzed the Aam Aadmi. Is there any solution to this menace? That's a big question we are posing tonight. But first up, let's show some of the worst hit areas of the capital region today. The underpass below South Delhi's Moolchand flyover is completely inundated. Those visuals speak for themselves. The cars, vans, traveller buses and trucks are completely submerged. People are seen wading through waist-deep waters. Let me show you what the scenes are in Azad Market area. The tourist buses have come to a standstill and people are being rescued through lifeboats from atop the buses. And here's the mayhem on Delhi's Minto Road area. A truck and a car are completely submerged in the flooded underpass. Several vehicles are rerouting after the flood havoc. Remember, it was the Minto Bridge area which was being claimed by the Aam Aadmi Party that they have fixed the problem as far as this area is concerned. Now, an aerial view over the area around All India Institute of Medical Sciences or AIIMS shows the complete havoc created by monsoon, and several vehicles are completely submerged. People are seen wading through the floods. On that note, let me also give you an overview of what Delhi is like. The Delhi International Airport management on Friday has set up a committee to probe the roof collapse at Terminal 1 of the airport, particularly leading to the death of one person and injuries to 8 people. During this incident, 4 vehicles were damaged and 8 individuals received minor injuries and were even provided immediate medical assistance at the Medanta Center at the Delhi airport. All flight operations were shifted to Terminal 2 and Terminal 3 from Terminal 1, and they've been suspended till further notice and rescheduled by the respective airlines to be operating from the other terminals. And of course, the Delhi police have also registered a first information report under sections 304A, death by negligence, and 337, causing hurt by act endangering life or personal safety of others of the Indian Penal Code. Now, police say they will carry out the probe to ascertain the reasons that led to the collapse of the structure and fix the responsibility of the agency and people whose job was to ensure its maintenance. But who is responsible is the big question that remains unanswered.
This was the very spot of tragedy where one person had lost his life due to this very collapse.
Prime Minister Modi ji has personally spoken to me to take charge of the incident and do whatever is necessary.
I'll just try and show you the visuals over here about the rescue operation that is still underway. 2 members of the NDRF team along with the life jackets have jumped in to figure out as to where are these people stuck. So
there you see the water logging up to an extent that one cannot go and cannot reach to the residence of Water Minister Atishi.
इनकी नीयत में खोट है, इनके मंशा में खोट है, बस पैसे और घोटाला से इनका ताल्लुक है।
128 मिलीमीटर बारिश 24 घंटे में 1936 के बाद पहली बार कल दिल्ली में देखी गई।
यही आम आदमी पार्टी की असली व्यवस्था है। विज्ञापन पर पूरा जोर है, व्यवस्था कमजोर है।
All right, let me introduce our esteemed panelists today. I'm joined in by Mr. R.P. Singh, who's the national spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party, and Anmol Pawar, who's a spokesperson for the Aam Aadmi Party. Mr. Singh, if I could begin with you, the national shame, as it's being called, what's happened at Terminal 1 today at the Delhi airport. In fact, it's a visual of the crushed cab driver that speaks volumes. Will telling his family that that was a construction done in 2009 help?
Well, issue is not of construction done in 2009 or whether 2024. Issue is not that. Issue is
But that's what the aviation minister has said
which has happened, and still, can I complete, ma'am? You asked me a question, allow me to complete. So question is that the strictest action should be taken, and that's why some action has been taken under section 304 and 327, if I rightly remember. And whoever is responsible, an official within the ministry or the official from the GMR company, whoever is responsible should be booked and prosecuted, because the question is that if something goes wrong, mishap happens, we have to pin the responsibility and ensure that the people who are responsible should be taken to task. This immaterial when it was constructed 2009 or 2014 or 2024.
All right. Anmol, it was just a couple of months ago, in fact, as recent as April this year, that the Delhi High Court, in fact, issued directions for adequate arrangements to be made for Delhi to be able to tackle waterlogging. They also remarked that there have been, what they've observed is in fact chaos within coordination as far as inter-departments are concerned. Not to forget, intergovernmental chaos has also been talked about. Where is the onus?
Kanshaji, first of all, I would express my heartfelt condolences and deepest sympathies to the families who are impacted by the tragedy today which happened at the T1 International Airport Terminal. I mean, this is the same terminal which was inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi just before the elections. And
False
this is not
and
an
untrue.
isolated,
That's untrue.
This is
I'm not
not
going
an
to
isolated incident.
I'm not going to take
Akanshaji,
wrong
This is false and
misinformation
untrue.
being peddled on the
me-
show. And let's
let
not
me
get
complete-
into politicization. We've seen the tragedy that struck an entire family. Any amount
But this
of
is-
compensation or blame game is only
can I be allowed
demeaning
to
and
complete?
insulting and defaming the death of a person who has lost his life. And in fact, it is an insult to his entire family. So let's not get into whether
But
it
is
was
it-
inaugurated
is it-
in March or in 2009.
is it-
It's shameful
is it
that we are
an-
doing this today.
No, but is it an isolated incident? What happened in Jabalpur? What happened to
What
to
has
that-
Aam Aadmi Party done about addressing the waterlogging
No, but
situation?
why are-
The biggest
why are you
irony is
not-
the waterlogging outside your own water minister
Water-
Atishi's
the biggest
residence.
irony is that
First she cries foul
the
during
biggest-
the heat wave, then she cries foul during smog time also, and now
Ma'am,
she's
when
crying
you
foul.
complete your monologue, then
Right, but
please allow me
please
to
do
complete.
not get into misinformation over here.
No, but more than 8 people have died in that incident which happened at T1. Why are we not fixing the accountability for that? Who is responsible for that?
8 people have died.
And
Again,
as far as Delhi is concerned,
again
in the
spreading
past,
lies.
sir, please allow me to complete. In past 1.5 days, Delhi has experienced unprecedented rainfall.
Anmol, please,
Sir,
let's not
don't
peddle
get rattled, sir.
misinformation
Allow
and
me to
fake
complete.
news over here.
No,
Let's talk.
where
My
did
question
where did he got that
is,
from?
what
Where
has
people
the
died?
Delhi
you
government
want-
done? Mr. Singh, let me please complete. Anmol, please stick
Ma'am,
to
do
the
you want
question.
me to
The
respond?
question
Do you
I am
want me to
posing to you,
respond?
Anmol, I have already begun by questioning Mr. R.P. Singh, who is the
Ma'am, do you-
spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now, let me do my job.
You
I am
seem-
asking
you
you,
s-
what has the
Ma'am,
Delhi
you seem-
government done?
So, for that, you'll have to wait patiently for me to answer and not continue with your monologue.
Right,
And
please,
please
then
do not
finish,
get rattled.
address the
Please
question.
do not get rattled.
I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
getting
addressing
rattled.
that.
I've begun this
Only if you-
debate by
only
questioning
if you
the
allow
BJP
me.
and the government at the center.
I'm answering that only if you allow me and listen to me patiently. In the past 1.5 days, Delhi has experienced an unprecedented rainfall. And this is the IMD data, which says that since 1936, it is for the first time that 228 mm of rain was recorded within 24 hours, which is 28% of the rain which Delhi witnessed during the whole monsoon, which is around 800 mm. And as far as preparations are concerned, certainly we have done a lot of preparations. 24 hours control room have been set up in PWD. Quick response teams have been set up. Traffic police and all the MLAs and councillors, along with workers, are working round the clock to ensure that this problem does not pertain for a long time. Helpline numbers have been issued so that people can report if there are waterlogging issues. And the Honorable Minister, Delhi Urban Development Minister, Mr. Saurabh Bhardwaj, wrote to the Chief Secretary on June 5th and asked him to immediately provide the list of drains which have been desilted. And he also directed that an independent third-party audit of the work must be conducted on or before June 30. So we have done preparations to ensure that people of Delhi do not face any such situation.
You made your point. Your preparations perhaps have done too little and they've arrived too late. And that's why I want to bring in Dr. Bagai. Dr. Bagai, there's no denial that what we have witnessed is in fact the second highest rainfall in June since the year 1936. It has been an unprecedented scenario since 1936, as has also been highlighted by our esteemed Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson over here. But Dr. Bagai, as far as waterlogging is concerned, this is not unheard of in the national capital. We also as journalists are tiring out doing the same stories day in, day out every year. And when you're talking about how currently Delhi's drainage plan is now becoming obsolete because this is one that was proposed back in the year 1976, what does it speak of the efforts of the governments, not just in the state but also at the center?
Good evening. I think what the Aam Aadmi Party people promised was Pani Har Ghar Mein. In fact, they've overdone their promise. They've brought it into our drawing rooms, into our bedrooms, and underneath our beds. Everything is floating. But unfortunately, there's not much water in the taps. Without going into the politics, I think the readiness of our city as Delhi has been found wanting. The desilting of the drains, the drainage itself is about 50, 60 years old. Even colonies, the smaller lanes, the larger lanes, the arterial roads inside residential areas are completely waterlogged. Yes, there has been a deluge of rain, but I think the level of preparedness could have been better. My only suggestion and request to the local government in Delhi is that we need to now work with different agencies. As a common citizen, being in Delhi now for the almost past 30, 35 years, the perception which most people have is that the Aam Aadmi Party is just at war or friction with almost anyone and everyone. Who's suffering are the citizens. First it was the heat wave, then now the deluge of the monsoons and the waterlogging. If you pick up the newspaper, ITO or Minto Road is synonymous with waterlogging. It's underground, it's deluged, it's drowned. Then following will be the malaria and the dengue and the food and waterborne diseases. So I think we need to get our act together. All the government agencies need to work together because we are working in the interest of the citizens. We are tax-paying, loyal, honest citizens. We are proud Indians. But I think we need to do our own city proud by making the agencies work with the local government and local government working with the agencies. That's where the gap lies.
All right, RP Singh, I see you want to make a point, but as you make that, no, before you make that, I also have a question for you, which is that back in the year 2009, we had seen the LG back then, Governor Mr. Khanna had in fact proposed a plan that there should be a master plan to tackle the whole drainage issue. Why can't the current LG do such a thing and in fact orchestrate a plan like that? The onus also lies on the LG.
Ma'am, also ask him that the NDMC...
Anmol, you don't have to tell me what I have to ask him. Let him answer what I have asked.
Oh, rather, is the local government ready to do the work accordingly? I give you one example, it will clarify my point of view. There are 714 drains in city, 714 drains which are in PWD area, out of which only 150 drains were desilted this time. Rest of the drains couldn't be desilted, 150 were also not completely desilted. Asked him to prove a record on, I'm saying on record, let him bring a record tomorrow, day after, and let him prove that more than 150 drains were desilted in Delhi. One. Secondly, Delhi police way back in April, 15th of April, has sent a letter to Delhi government and the officers, other departments, saying that there are more than 308 places where waterlog will happen. Please take care of it. Last year it was 173. This time it is 308. So, have they done something on those places where the waterlogging happens? And it is happening again and again. And the best solution which they should do, I am suggesting it now on your channel, that they should look for water harvesting pits at the spots where the waterlogging happen, because they can't desilt. They have failed to desilt, and they don't have time now because after 6 months they will be thrown, and then the next government will be in. So it's good for them if they can give something to Delhi before they are thrown out. That is the water harvesting pits at those 308 places where the waterlogging happens, and also they should stop pointing fingers at others. When there was water shortage, they said Haryana. When it is desilting of rain or there's a problem with the plan of the desilting, then again they blame the Chief Secretary. Now next will be the health problem in city. Give me a second, another 5 seconds. Health problem in city, again they will blame the center because all their mohalla clinics are drowned in the water. After that, it will be the pollution, and again they will blame Haryana for it. So they can only point fingers at others, not do any work on ground, neither give solutions to any problem in Delhi.
Anmol, you just talked about how Saurabh Bharadwaj has in fact asked about how many drains have been desilted. All of this preparation should have been made earlier. You're talking about preparations when mayhem has already struck the national capital. Let me also remind you that IIT Delhi's report is there from 2018, which was also dissed by the technical government team, which was constituted back in the year 2021. Yes, it was dismissed, but why not incorporate the aspects of it and orchestrate a plan? Questions and fingers are bound to be raised that this is misgovernance only simply because your chief minister is behind bars. Why do you want the opposition to in fact have more ammo to attack you?
I must appreciate Mr. RP Singh tonight for being desperately lying on the television channels day in and day out. Other than peddling lies and misinforming the viewers, he does nothing else. As far as
I give a challenge to what I have said, please prove it wrong.
Mr. Singh, let him make a point. He allowed you to speak. Now please allow him to speak. Yes.
You always get rattled when I place correct facts, sir. Someone on your panel was giving suggestion that Delhi government must work with the agencies. So let me inform you that Delhi Jal Board has partnered with AECOM to develop integrated and sustainable master plan to improve sanitation condition and enhance the water quality in Delhi. And we are working on it at war footing. And that is the precise reason that meeting was called, an emergency meeting was called a month back. And instructions were also issued to the respective ministries that wherever temporary and permanent pumps have been installed in all the 70 assembly constituencies of Delhi, a list of location along with the phone number of the senior officials were provided to respective MLAs so that in case waterlogging happens, that issue can be resolved immediately. And we have done that. In the past 24 hours, we are working round the clock. All our ministers, all our MLAs, all our councillors are on the ground and working to ensure that people do not face any problem.
All right.
While on the other hand, BJP is running away from taking the responsibility of what has happened today at the international airport. Have some shame, sir. People have lost their lives. You are only interested in politics.
No, I do agree with you over there, Anmol, because, you know, there is also accountability when it comes to the government at the center, Mr. Singh, because let's not forget that the Airport Authority of India, in fact, is a statutory body which comes under the government of India. And, you know, you're talking about doing an audit, Mr. Singh. You know, the aviation ministers talked about waiting for an audit report. There was a review meet called in the evening. But perhaps it's too little too late, because the biggest question is your government is currently in power. What was the government at the center doing then to ensure that an international airport is, you know, adequately equipped? Mr. Singh.
Akansha, that's why, thank you. Akansha, that's why a case has been lodged under section 304 and 327, so that, as I said, whoever is responsible, whether he is part of the airport authority or GMR, the agency which is managing the airport, please, they will be booked and they will be prosecuted accordingly. None will be spared. But the man
please let him finish his point, Anmol. I have incorporated the point you were making, and please let him finish.
But the basic issue is being deflected that who will take care of Delhi after this flood which has happened in Delhi which was promised that will make it London. Today they have made it London by getting Thames to every house, or make it Paris by bringing Seine to every house, the river, 2 rivers to the city. But after this, there will be very big health issue which will erupt in Delhi. I mean, within the next 2 days, there will be big health issue. Is Delhi prepared and geared up for that? Is Delhi prepared and geared up for what will happen after another rain? Is Delhi prepared and geared up for? If they are prepared, let's wait for another 4 or 5 days when the next rain happens. I'm hopeful that nothing happened to Delhi, but it's not going to happen that way. I mean, Delhi is going to again suffer because 9.5 years they have only pointed fingers at others than owning responsibility. And it's a time for people to stamp them out. By 6 months they'll be out.
Then tell me what will the government at the centre do to assist the government in Delhi, Mr. Singh? I want an assurance from the government at the centre also, because I'm again going to allude to what the Delhi High Court had to say in April this year. They've said that there's also lack of coordination between governments.
Well, first thing need to be done is to ensure that to improve the health of the Delhi Jal Board, which was a profit-making organization till 10 years back of some 600 crore rupees, which is 73,000 crore rupees loss-making, and huge bungling, huge scams have happened in that. So all that need to be streamlined, and Delhi Jal Board need to be pumped with a lot of money. It need to be pumped with a lot of money so that all that scams which has happened that need to be investigated, but that leaving that aside, that investigation aside,
all right. I think we've delved into enough of political blame game. I'd like to in fact end with Dr. Bagai's thoughts. Dr. Bagai, how would you like to end this discussion? Because remember, as far as the master plan for a new drainage system in the national capital has been on for 16 years, but clearly going by the situation on ground zero, no progress has been made.
Yeah, I think we need to keep politics aside. I can only request the state government, AAP government to work closely with the centre, work closely with the agencies, work in the interests of the residents. I think the residents, especially the people of the lower socioeconomic and the low-lying areas of Delhi, have suffered a lot. I would also request them to be fully abreast and prepared for the deluge of food and waterborne diseases and vector-borne diseases, which include malaria, dengue, chikungunya, which is bound to follow in approximately 7 to 10 days' time. That's the incubation period of the mosquitoes. Now we need to get ready for that. We need the hospital bases ready. We need to actually tick all the boxes so that we are future ready. At the present moment, we need to focus 24 hours a day on desilting activities so that the drainage system improves. We also need to improve and lay down new drainage systems because the old ones are many, many decades old. So my request to the AAP government is, I'm not a politician, I'm a doctor, I'm a citizen, I'm a very proud Indian. I want you to work closely so that the situation on the ground improves. Let us not put blame on anyone. Let us not finger point at anyone. That will not argue well for you. And it will not argue well for the residents either.
Absolutely. In fact, I'm going to request the national spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party and the Bharatiya Janata Party to both factor in all those recommendations that have just been made by Dr. Bagai over there. Because remember, as far as what's going to happen next has very amply and rightly been highlighted by him. It is time to, in fact, take action now, because remember, a stitch in time saves 9. Many thanks to you, gentlemen, for joining in on this discussion. And with that, it's a quick wrap from my end here on Brass Tacks. Thank you so much for watching CNN News 18.
You owe an explanation to 23 lakh students. They're asking for a retest, saying that if the UGC NET exam was cancelled because there was evidence of some kind of compromise, then you should do the same with NEET.
Are you worried the Canadian polity and politics is veering away from the right and actually engaging itself with secessionist elements, break India elements?
The kind of space which are given now, I think it will create much more difficult scenarios for the future.
We did so when the train tragedy took place a few days back in Odisha. We did so on Morbi. We did so Balasore. We've done so even when Parliament was breached, viewers. What I'm against is whataboutery, which is politically motivated.
The question that would be in the minds of the public is, given the strength of the opposition bloc that you've pointed out to, is that going to lead to more work and possibly healthier debate, or is that going to lead to more disruptions?
Presented by
Hello and welcome to First Post. You are watching Vantage with me, Alison Lagrange. Will Joe Biden still contest this year's presidential election? The Democrats are in disarray. Biden had hoped the first debate would put him ahead of Trump. Instead, the plan has boomeranged, and how? The US president was struggling and fumbling during